Today we're going to talk about 5 critical skills for accountants and bookkeepers. There are lots more than that, but I just like the number 5. Welcome to Accounting How To. My name is Carolyn Grimm, and that is my sidekick Terrence, the T-Account Rex, and we're here to put the fun in accounting fundamentals. So I wanted to talk today about some of the skills that you need to be really successful as accountants and bookkeepers. And I'm talking about success that lasts for many decades. So when I look back on my career, it was over 40 years ago that I took my very first bookkeeping class. 40 years, and I'm still at it. So I want to break down some of the skills that I feel have most contributed to my success in the hopes that it will contribute to your success. So the number 1 skill, hands down, is technical ability, technical knowledge. You've got to know your stuff, right? You got to really know it. You can't say, is this an open book test? It is not. Accounting is all about knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more value you have in the marketplace, and the marketplace will reward value with cold, hard cash. And it doesn't matter whether you're an accountant or a bookkeeper. It doesn't matter whether you have an accounting degree or you don't have an accounting degree. That knowledge is what will power you through in every situation when you're working in the accounting profession, in whatever level you're at, whatever your job title is. Number 2 critical skill is communication. It's being able to talk to people about things that they may or may not understand, and you've got to meet them where they are and bring them to where they need to be. So if you're working at a job where you're working in payroll, for example, you may be dealing with an employee who has zero financial knowledge, and they don't understand why the government's taking their money out of their check. And you may also be working with a business owner who has very little financial knowledge. So 2 different people, 2 very different walks of life, but the same level of accounting and financial knowledge. So you've got to be able to communicate what you know in a way that doesn't off-put them or make them feel dumb, right? So that communication piece of it is fantastically important. And I've worked with some accountants that were extremely good on the technical knowledge side, but their people skills were horrible. Number 3 is adaptability. I don't know how many times in the last 10 years I've run into an accountant or a bookkeeper who hasn't learned QuickBooks Online. They're comfortable using QuickBooks Desktop. They've been using it for years. They can do it in their sleep. But when it comes to learning new software, they don't embrace it. And that is such a danger professionally because it really limits what you can do for your clients. And our employers and our clients are looking to us for knowledge. They want to know what's the best software for them to use. Is there an app that will work with their software that's going to help them out? But time and time again, I see accountants and bookkeepers who are like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. But the more you know, the more value you have in the marketplace. So what I'm saying here is, don't be a dinosaur. Sorry, Terrence. You've got to adapt. You've got to continue to learn software and research things and figure out what's out there and keep up with tax code changes and keep up with what the latest accounting treatment is for emerging industries. It's extremely important if you want to have a long career. Number 4, and this is one that took me way too long to learn. You've got to learn to say no to multitasking. Every job description you'll see out there, every ad for someone will say, must be good at multitasking. We're looking for a multitasker. Well, what happens in accounting and bookkeeping is if you're multitasking, you're not doing your job. And your job is to do the accounting and the bookkeeping. Accounting and bookkeeping involves focus. Every time you get interrupted from a spreadsheet or from that invoice that you were in the middle of creating and you get pulled off into some other task, when you come back to it, you have to figure things out from the beginning all over again. It's like day 1, hour 1 of looking at that spreadsheet. You've got to figure it all out all over again. So multitasking is a great skill, but it's not the right skill for accountants and bookkeepers because we need focused time to do what we actually do. And number 5, you've got to be willing to fire an employer or a client. And this is a tough one. I've had to deal with this numerous times in my career. There are times when an employer will ask you to do something that you know is 100% wrong. It is the wrong thing to do, or a client wants you to take a shortcut, or the environment that you're working in is absolutely toxic. You've got to be willing to say, this is not for me, and to be able to walk away. And that's very difficult if you're looking at making your rent or your mortgage payment, and you're like, oh, but what's going to happen if I do that? Well, here's what will happen. If you have technical knowledge and communication skills, and you're adaptable, and you understand the role that accounting and bookkeeping has in a successful business, you will always find new work, okay? Accounting and bookkeeping, extremely important skills, extremely marketable skills. They have value in the workplace. So believe in yourself, which is kind of like a bonus tip. That's tip number 6 for today. Believe in yourself. So if you haven't checked out my Accounting How-To channel, I invite you to come on over and join us. Until next time, stay balanced, my friends.